action item for everybody listening, every company, is get out there and educate every single person about what a trade secret is. And when they see certain information, they need to not share it outside with friends or blogs or discussions, conferences. And most importantly, when you capture this technology, identify the technology, decide whether you're going to keep it as a trade secret, decide whether you're going to patent it, but do something with it so that you have some type of date stamp. This is a secret. We filed it on this date. We preserved it on this date. Here's our proof.
The cloud is great. It solves a lot of real-world problems, but it's not just one cloud anymore. Public clouds, private clouds, edge clouds. The average business uses 5 different cloud providers. It's become chaotic and complex, with unpredictable costs, inconsistent security, multiple management tools, and different formats for workloads that span cloud platforms and providers. But it doesn't have to be that way. The Dell Technologies Cloud, powered by VMware, can be the one constant across your clouds. It brings consistent infrastructure and operations to your multi-cloud environment, so you can choose the right cloud for each application. A public cloud that lets you easily tap into services, a private cloud that's fully under your control, or the edge with cloud as a service. With a true hybrid cloud experience, your business becomes more agile with simple workload migration and easy onboarding for new assets. Your teams get to market faster. With simplified operations and automated processes, you reduce risk and strengthen your security profile. And with Dell Technologies Cloud, you have flexible consumption options, reducing your total cost of ownership. Like it or not, the business world often requires many clouds. Now, that's easier than ever, with consistent infrastructure, operations, and services across all your clouds. You get the cloud without the chaos. The Dell Technologies Cloud.
Dave Stevens. I'm going to talk about IP protections and strategies in a world of remote workers. Dave Stevens is the partner and founder of Stevens Law Group, which is an IP law firm, and I'll pass the mic off to him if Dave is ready.
If you're a high-tech company, then you own valuable intellectual property. Typically, it's in the form of brands, technology, and products that your employees are producing every day. Left unprotected, you could lose control and even ownership of these assets. What you need are holistic strategies using patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets to protect your company and their assets. Stevens Law Group wants to be your trusted counselors to help you protect these assets. Call us today so we can develop a strategy that will meet your business goals. 408-288-7588. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again for your time, guys. It's really great to be here. And I also got a lot of really great questions, which kind of changed a little bit about what I'm going to talk about. I got pre-questions to this discussion, and thanks to all the attendees for that, because I always want to talk about what you guys want to hear about and what you want to discuss. So chime in with questions too. So intellectual property protection, the fundamentals haven't really changed in the COVID time, in this lockdown, in this work, in this remote work environment. But it's become more important to educate more of employees, management, engineers, everybody in the company of what intellectual property is. And generally patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. The most sensitive being trade secrets and also patents. It's really important to identify these things, understand what they are, and keep your eye out for them. Because most employees, I mean, yeah, there's secrets and they keep secrets and there's things that they understand are unique to the company, unique to the products. But for many people, it's not that obvious, especially if they're not in a specific area of technology or work within the company. So it's really important to identify these things and decide what you're going to do with them. right? So you need, first of all, you need to find the intellectual property, and you need to collaborate to do that. So in this distributed world of COVID, where everybody's working remotely, there's not so much collaboration, except maybe on the Zoom meetings and other things. People seem to be having more meetings, that's for sure. I certainly am. But they also are not having these get-togethers or even casual discussions of, look at this new thing I did, look at this new improvement. What about this secret, right? And it's not something that comes up in, you know, necessarily management meetings or all hands meetings and different things like that. And they need to, because it's your employees that are creating this intellectual property, and they are the ones in the front line who understand what is new, what is critical, and it's up to management to decide, are we going to capture this IP? Are we going to file patents? Are we going to protect it with trade secret, or you know, with copyrights? Or are we going to treat it as a trade secret? And even if you decide to treat it as a trade secret, you don't just not discuss it and keep it secret. You need to announce to the people who have access to it, especially in the company, that it's secret. And when you talk to outside contractors and when you talk to customers, you need to treat it like a secret. You exchange documents and you share things, you mark them confidential. You make it very clear that these things are secret, they're proprietary, meaning the company owns these things, and that we expect them to treat our secrets like they would treat their secrets. And the only way you can really ensure this is if you educate everyone in your ecosystem, both inside the company and outside the company. So you need to constantly monitor research and development, marketing, sales for new initiatives, new roadmaps, new plans, and to identify these things and share them around the company to people who necessarily need to know them. And most importantly, letting them know that these things are secrets. And they're secrets until you file a patent or release your product where this secret is no longer a secret, it's out in the public. But oftentimes, many things you do are not in the public, and you want to make sure that you keep them secret, you identify them. There's a recent case, in fact, it's Palantir, a very big, famous unicorn company, and there was an internal person, it was an investor, who overheard a trade secret, went off and filed a patent application on the technology. It was unheard of, and then they sued him for trade secret misappropriation, and it was a big, ugly thing. But they're protecting their trade secrets. They're holding their secrets very close, and they're very serious about them. They ran into a problem, though, because this was in their roadmap. They had discussed it, but they didn't record it anywhere. They didn't have it on a file with a date stamp or any kind of email or anything that would say, this is a secret, this is ours, we must protect it, it belongs to the company. And they're running into problems with litigation. They will likely lose their litigation because they did not identify the trade secrets. So, action item for everybody listening, every company, is get out there and educate every single person about what a trade secret is. And when they see certain information, they need to not share it outside with friends or blogs or discussions, conferences, webinars like this, right? It's so easy to discuss these things, and they may not even be aware that they're discussing a secret. They might just be bragging about something that they're doing and that their company is so awesome, look what they're doing. Often you can lose trade secrets that way, and you need to educate everyone so they will protect them and join the company and protect them with you in this unified effort, right? So COVID, what's new here in intellectual property protection? What's different? Well, we all know about the distributed workforce now. In fact, Cisco did a study that 80% of the hits on these enterprise servers are from remote devices that are off campus somewhere. So texts, different types of programs, Slack, different things. There's lots of communications that are going around, and it just raises the likelihood that something might get lost. That is, something might get disclosed, a trade secret might be communicated to a wrong person, and you have to be very careful about that. And you have to take certainly the measures internally to try to control this flow of information. And most importantly, when you capture this technology, identify the technology, decide whether you're going to keep it as a trade secret, decide whether you're going to patent it, but do something with it so that you have some type of date stamp. This is a secret. We filed it on this date. We preserved it on this date, and here's our proof. If you're going to patent it, file the patents. File provisional patent applications if it's emergency, if you don't have time, but file something and get a date stamp. It's critical. That process, fortunately, has not changed. So when you file patents, you get the date of your filing, and you have the priority date above anybody else who files afterward. Right? I'm going to check for questions at this point, if anybody has any questions.
As the world reopens, ServiceNow is helping customers make sure going back to the workplace works for everyone. Introducing the Safe Workplace apps and dashboard. 4 apps specifically designed to help ensure the health and safety of your workforce and workplace, all housed in a single dashboard to give you a comprehensive look into everything you need to know. And they're available now, out of the box, powered by the Now platform. Get a bird's eye view to make sure your employees are prepared and ready to go back to the workplace. Manage inventory levels across your organisation thanks to workflows that automatically replenish supplies. Screen and verify the health of your employees, and help manage workflows for cleaning, sanitation and safe distancing for employees. 4 essential apps, 1 comprehensive dashboard. Together we can make sure going back to the workplace can work for everyone. That's the power of the Now platform.
Yeah, feel free to message me with questions as I go. I'm happy to entertain them, and even take a different course in this discussion, right? So in the U.S. Patent Office, there are certain procedures that help companies, individuals, inventors to help capture the intellectual property that may have been lost due to COVID, where you had company lockdowns. You may have had, for some reason, some disruption in your business where you were not able to file patents to protect your trade secrets or anything else. Now there are programs that will let you go back and kind of claw that stuff back, file your patents, and you will get an early filing date, and you would be able to file a patent at all, even though you missed a deadline, so that you can protect your intellectual property. You have to move quickly because these windows of time are limited. But if anything was lost in that period of time, the February, March, April, May timeframe, there are opportunities to capture this intellectual property and still have something protected. But again, you have to move quickly. Moving forward, it's the same kind of diligence we always talked about before, which is discover your trade secrets, discover which ones you want to file as patents, capture your technology, and file as soon as you can. Most importantly, you want to file before you release a product. You want to file before you sell a product. Sometimes you sell something before it even gets in the hands of a customer. And you want to do it before you publish it anyway. So you need to act before these things happen. There's no forgiveness after you do these things. Generally in the United States, you have 12 months after you've done any of these things, you took disclosure or sale or anything like that. You have 12 months to file, but you're left with just the United States. In foreign countries, you must have a patent filing, before you do these things, or you will lose your rights. The United States is what I call the donut hole. It's the only country that matters that will recognize patent rights after you've made, used, or sold these things. In other countries, including all over Europe, you don't get that same forgiveness. So a question came in. I like this question. It's very timely. It's just about in the line of where I was going to go, and that is from John Bennett. How do you protect the company when you hire someone from a competitor? It's a very good question. Very good question, and thanks for asking this question. So you're always going to hire somebody, unless they're fresh out of school, with some kind of background, with some kind of experience in the area where you are. That's why you hire them, because they have that experience. They're experts. In California, employees can freely move even among competitors and work for them and be allowed to innovate even in the same areas where they've worked in the past. So first of all, what you really need is the HR package. You can get these from your corporate attorneys. We have them too. We can share them with you. And you need to make sure that the employee understands several things. The first thing is, do you have any secrets from a former employer? And you want to know who their former employer was. You want to know every bit about their background, even if it's a research organization, a university, or something, because they can also have intellectual property rights that they may have left behind there. You want to make sure also that you're aware of any projects that they're currently working on their own as you're speaking to them when they're between jobs, or even as you're hiring them. And you want to make sure that nothing conflicts with what you're doing. You want to make sure that they're not filing patents on things that they might implement and integrate into your products after you hire them. And you want to get all that in writing and get it signed, because you want to make sure it's very clear that the employee was asked these things. And if they didn't disclose them, they had the chance. So when they integrate them, they can't say that you took them, right? And you likely have a license to that technology if they did that. And it's all in the HR documents that they would sign. You also want to make sure that it's very clear to them that the company does not want them to bring any technology, whether it was integrated or used in a product in a former employer or anywhere else they worked, to bring it to the company. Everything must be left behind. Everything must be left behind. So especially trade secrets, anything patentable, because you don't have to do a patent search to see, well, what did this guy work on? What did this woman work on? It takes 18 months to publish, and when you're hiring this person, you will likely not see everything that they have been working on in a public forum, in patents or in conferences and different things. So you want to make sure that that employee is very clear what they're allowed to bring to their new job. And it's really their skills. And you can't let them bring trade secrets, right? And you want to make sure that they understood that, and that the agreement is very clear when you hired them. Because what happens if you end up with a trade secret misappropriation issue where a secret goes from a former employer to you, to your company, that company's going to come after you if they find out, and they're going to have a very nasty litigation to introduce you to. So the way to avoid it on behalf of the company is to get these statements signed by this employee. So that way you're clean and you're very clear that you don't accept trade secrets, you would never misappropriate or use anyone's trade secrets, and you went through reasonable measures to make sure that you did not do that. The company did not do that. So I hope that answers your question. It really is a matter of strict diligence to protect yourself from any kind of trade secret or intellectual property that's coming in that you didn't expect. Okay, a couple questions. I'll just run with these questions from Arun Ayer, A-I-Y-E-R. Is EPO filing after U.S. filing okay? Well, really specifically, you can, anywhere you file in the world, you can, for most, about 180 countries, all the countries that matter, you can file in any country to start with. And if you file within 12 months, you can file in the United States. You just cite that earlier application, and you will get that earlier filing date in the United States. It's called a Patent Cooperation Treaty. It's an international treaty that most countries signed, the exceptions being like North Korea and a few others, so the ones that really shouldn't matter to you. So it's a treaty that everybody accepts, understands, and recognizes, and as long as you file within 12 months from one country to another, you can get the same patent application filed with the earlier date in the United States. And of course, the reverse works too. File in the US, you file in India or EPO or anywhere there. From Pretty, just to file patent for idea after prototype is ready, or just document the idea in copyright? Does patent add value to valuations of a company in the same sector, higher revenue, but no patent? so far. Okay, and I also hear from Shannon that I got 2 minutes, and I want to stay strict to the time so you guys can get back on track. So what's a patent, right? It's really important to make sure that, well, if you have something that's novel and there is a technological underpinning to it, it's not just an abstract idea, you file patents and you can have very powerful intellectual property. And yes, it does add to the valuation of the company. Many companies I'm working with now, they're looking at some type of exit or going public, and it definitely has an effect on the value of the company. They give a specific value to the intellectual property. Often companies, that's all they have. They have a software company or hardware company that they've got their intellectual property. They've got a leased building. They might have some inventory. The intellectual property is really what defines their value, whether it's trade secrets, copyrights, or patents. Patents are very powerful. They're also public. And they're very strong indications of innovation, uniqueness, novelty to the products. And I think I'm running out of time right about now. So I'm cutting my discussion short, and I'm happy to discuss any of these issues, any questions that you have offline. We can often, talk for hours on this, but we are limited time, and I want to respect Paul's call to cut things short. What is the general range of cost to file a patent for an idea? This is the same. Some person asked the questions. It's different across the board. Provisional patent applications are relatively inexpensive, especially if the inventors of the company does most of the write-up. That gets you 12 months before you file a non-provisional application. Non-provisional applications can range from simple ideas from, say, $5,000 or $6,000 to $10,000 to $12,000. It depends who you hire, whether it's local around here, and also how much experience the firm has in your technology, which can greatly affect the amount of time they spend and how much ultimately it will cost you. Right? So let's cut this short now. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for your attention to this. And I'm getting lots of different questions even now. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to spend time with you.